Welcome back, True Seeker. Last month, March 6, 2026, the news broke that Jeff Nippard, who has a massive YouTube channel in the fitness realm, that his fiance dropped dead suddenly at age 36. And again, the announcement went out on 3/6. And another very popular YouTuber and social media personality, Aiden Ross, 3 days earlier, the news was announced that his sister had dropped dead at 36. They put out that news on March 3rd, the night of the blood moon, which are important to people in Jaden Ross's community who tend to worship on the Sabbath day. They actually get it correct. They keep the Sabbath day holy, if you follow what I'm saying, the moon people, the Saturday clan. But remember, she didn't die March 3rd. She had died January 15th, but the news didn't break until the day of the blood moon. And first we covered the Aiden Roth death, and we said, well, this is interesting that his sister is dead at 36, because, again, you learn this practice, this Kabbalistic practice, which is also traditionally attributed to Aiden Ross's people. But again, Kabbalah, there's a practice of coding numbers into words known as gematria or gematria. There's been music made about this practice. The Police did the song in 1983. By the way, Murder Equals 83. The song from 1983 is called Murder by Numbers. It's about killing is as simple as ABC is 1, 2, 3. There's a movie by the same title that codes 83 right into the poster. The star of that movie is Sandra Bullock, whose name equals 83. There's the Slipknot song Gematria, the killing name. Two members of that band have died by the same numerical value that equates with gematria, which equates with killing. Agatha Christie did the ABC murders about killing by the code of ABC is 1, 2, 3. And of course, I've been here every single day for going on 13 straight years. And for exposing this, had my channel deleted nearly 30 times and have been absolutely shadow banned at this point, because never before in the history of this work has it gotten such little reception. Again, when I was brand new to YouTube, I got more views than I get now in year 13. And of course, things have never been worse. And it's not because the work is bad. Again, we've exposed probably more than anybody's ever exposed in the history of the world on the internet. And that's not cap. I mean, that's just facts. If you've been here, called everything serious that's going on in the world and exposed this code to a T, and how repetitive it is in the world of entertainment and celebrity, and even in the world of B-list celebrities like Jeff Nippard and Aiden Ross. But realize Jeff Nippard and Aiden Ross have been made millionaires off social media, where the algorithm has been bent to serve them, whereas people who come on here and actually do meaningful stuff and tell truth and expose major agendas that could really improve the position of everyone in the world, you know, they get destroyed, like yours truly. And for anyone who doubts that, had you followed what I told you at the beginning of Cooties 19, you probably wouldn't have myocarditis, your relatives might not be in the grave, and had everybody played along, we never would have been locked down, because they wouldn't have been able to lock us down. We would have all said, F you to your scam. But anyway, all of this stuff has been executed by this code. And again, Aiden Ross, we'll just start here. Again, sister's dead at 36. If you're new here, this practice coding numbers and words, it's very simple. It's based on the alphabetic order, forwards and backwards with numerology applied. There's 4 base ciphers of the English language. That's super elementary. Again, they saved the death of his sister for the night of a full moon, which also equals 36. He's referred to as a streamer. You can see in the base ciphers, Aiden Ross literally equals streamer in every cipher. If you're new here, the Jesuits are responsible for the language and the calendar. They are the military order of the church. They are a Catholic-Jewish hybrid. And their acronym and their logo, IHS, is 36. And again, we saw that Aiden Ross created his channel on the same day in history that the Jesuits were born, which is the IHS gang, which is the 36 gang. We saw that his sister died January 15th, even though they saved the news from March 3rd. That was 153 days after the anniversary of his channel being established. Madeline's also 153, like Jesuit order. They saved the news for 201 days later. If you're new here, I wrote a book about the Jesuits in 201 and how they were the face of the scamdemic, which was simulated with Event 201 on the day of the military World Games in Wuhan, China. And the news also broke on the 144th day of Aiden Ross's age, which is another big number with the Jesuits. So anyway, but the point, there's a bunch of things that are interesting here. But again, the sister's death was actually January 15th, which can be written 15/1. And for the record, pandemic also equals 151. You might recall the first case of cooties in the world outside of mainland China was found in Bill Gates' backyard in Seattle, the place with the big needle, on 15/1. But yeah, so this happens on March 3rd, right? We cover this, and then boom, 3 days later, another big time YouTuber who's made even more money off social media than Aiden Ross, a guy who showed off his $4 million gym at his house that's been built by YouTube ad revenue, Jeff Nippard. He comes out on 3/6 and says, my fiance dropped dead at 36. Save the news for 3/6. I still can't find a place on the internet that confirms what day she died or what she died from. It's still not out here. It's over a month later. But as we pointed out, we said, well, look, from Jeff Nippard's birthday to her death announcement was also 151 days, the 36th prime, a lot like how Aiden Ross's sister died on 36 on 15/1. And again, for, putting that information out, we had a lot of Jeff Nippard's community come here and vote down the video and say how dumb this is. Listen, if you think this stuff is dumb, I got news for you. You're dumb. You're dumb. This is what's going on. By the way, what was the Jewish woman that used to be the head of YouTube who's dead now? And so is her son, who was found dead in his dorm room. And they both died by the same numerical pattern, the same repetitive pattern that a lot of people have died by. I just bring it up because I remember once upon a time when she was still the head of YouTube and she was out there lying and saying, we're not going to delete people's channels anymore for things when we change the terms of service, and it changes what we tolerated from years past. And then next thing you know, yours truly's channel's deleted again for a video that's 3 years old. Anyway, the point is this code, it really is undeniable unless you're a moron and you just try to deny it without doing any research. The only people who deny this work are people who just deny it instantly because of their programming and their ignorance and don't actually look into it. And if I was brand new to this and I was presented this, I would look into it. I wouldn't just go, oh, this is dumb. Again, why are they making songs, movies, TV shows about this topic of killing people by the code of ABC 123? You start to see that for fame and fortune, people are making sacrifices in the world. Go back and listen to when LeBron was interviewed by JJ Redick about how you have a successful career in entertainment. LeBron said, you have to sacrifice your loved ones. And JJ Redick said, what? And he said it again, just as clear. He says, you have to sacrifice your loved ones. And for how many years was I talking about LeBron and all the bodies connected to him, including when he opened up that new school in Ohio and then a kid was dead there the first year by the code? Again, this stuff is undeniable. And for all of you who don't get it, Jeff Nippard, how many of you searched for something about fitness related on YouTube, and maybe it wasn't a Jeff Nippard video the first time, but once that video finished, it instantly went to a Jeff Nippard video? And like so many of these guys in the fitness community, and again, Jeff Nippard is good at video editing and putting together a high quality video, but you also see, they just have to keep making content. Next thing you know, Jeff Nippard, you're into his video, and it's like, here's the new thing, full body workout every single day. It's like, come on, man. Full body workout every single day. Yeah, I suppose if you're trying to burn out your body and tear your muscles apart too far and ruin yourself. But anyway, again, when I started looking at this, and I was like, this is one of the first images that came up in the article I looked at. I was like, oh my God. There he is doing the old Illuminati hand pyramid. And you got people coming here and looking at this stuff and going, come on, man, that doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it does. Look at all the celebrities doing the same poses. And again, Jeff Nippard's not Jay-Z, who also does that, who's also in the club. But again, he's a B-level celebrity. He is someone that, again, try becoming a content creator and see how it actually works. Come on here and speak about something meaningful, expose something, and watch yourself get deleted and censored and shadow banned and realize there is something more to this social media. This isn't about, they are choosing who the winners are, and they're also eliminating the people that they don't want on their platform, which again are the truth tellers of the world and people actually putting out meaningful information. And again, for all you guys who got so butthurt about what I said about his science-based lifting, again, I'm not wrong. Weightlifting is not a complicated thing. Stay consistent. Don't overdo it. Be the tortoise, and you will continue to build strength and muscle. I'm in my early 40s. I made the mistake in my late 20s of trying to do too much and blew out my shoulder. Had I not done that, and again, it's because I was lifting with a guy who was 6 inches bigger than me and 100 pounds more and trying to keep up with him. But the point is, I mean, you just stay steady and consistent. You can achieve very impressive things in the gym. It's just like anything else. Science-based lifting. I mean, again, it's not rocket science when it comes to lifting. Learn compound exercises. Be efficient with your time. Again, inch your way up. Try to put another 5 pounds, on the machine each time. And before you know it, after a year, you've made a ton of progress. Anyway, none of these content creators in the YouTube realm are really even needed. I mean, again, I started lifting weights long before YouTube even existed. But yeah, I also got injured, and I recently returned to the gym after a 12-year absence. And again, just seeing what was on YouTube, you get directed to Jeff Nippard right away. And the next thing you know, you're on Coach Greg, who he needs to stop pretending like, what's the guy's name? Mike Israeltel's gay. It's clear that he's gay for Mike Israeltel. He can't stop talking about him. But anyway, all of these guys, they're making a fortune and they're all putting out a bunch of stuff that really doesn't even need to exist. Anyway, I'd just like to read the comments because this is also the problem with this world. So many people think they're know-it-alls, and they think things like numerology and astrology are stupid simply because of their programming, and they don't see how the people that rule over them use it every single day in the programming that they feed what you could say are the sheep masses. And again, just constantly doing the numerical rituals right in front of their face and getting away with it. Just like this Artemis 2 launch on April Fool's Day. They just had to tell you 2 days ago, they named a crater after a dead astronaut's wife who died at 46 on 4/6. And by the way, they named the crater Carol, which was supposedly her name, but I don't even think it's really named after her. I think it's named after John Carroll. You know what I was just telling you about the Jesuits and how they run the whole show, and they gave us the language in the calendar, which the average American doesn't even know? Look up how many craters on the moon are named after Jesuit priests. And then look into the Jesuits and that whole 201 thing and how the moon landing was on the 201st day of the year and Neil Alden Armstrong equals 201. If you don't know who Carroll is in regards to the Jesuits, he's one of the most important Jesuits and one of the most important people in this nation's history. He has a lot to do with the early days of the federal government and the establishment of Georgetown. But anyway, and that's the thing too. Dumb people who don't know shit about shit, they think they're holier than thou. And again, most of them suffer from Dunning-Kruger. They don't know shit about shit. And in their ignorance, they think they're so smart. So anyway, I just want to go through here because this recent video talking about the death of Stephanie Buttermoore at 36, announced on 3/6, who dropped dead for God knows what reason, where there's still no cause of death. And everyone should ask that. Why are they always so quick to rush out these stories when seemingly they don't even know anything about what happened? If you're going to let us know that somebody died, I mean, get to the bottom of it. What did they die from? 36-year-olds historically don't just drop dead for no unknown reasons. Of course, in the post-Cooties 19, we know why that has happened to a lot of people. But again, this dying by the numbers thing, that's been going on since longer than the Cooties 19 era. Anyway, I want to read these comments and remind you guys, I mean, sometimes this knowledge, you put it out here, you'll see. It's not for the swine. Rotation, trying to profit off of conspiracy theories about the death of someone's wife might be a new kind of low. I hope you get the help you need because mental health isn't a joke. And isn't it spelled incorrectly? Again, this channel doesn't profit. Talking about the truth doesn't profit. If I wanted to profit on YouTube, I'd go into something that was profitable. Not to mention, for the majority of the time I've been here, there's been no monetization or anything on this channel. Again, talking about how evil the world of entertainment is and getting to the bottom of these ritualistic murders and trying to stop this, that's called righteous. And calling people mentally ill because your ignorance is actually a sign of mental deficiency. The next person, you are completely and utterly mentally ill. What the fuck is this? Again, these people watched a pretty clear explanation of what this is, and this is where they arrive at. And I just want you guys to realize the dumbest people are the most programmed people, and they all have the same thoughts and ideas in them. When I was 18 years old and 9/11 happened, which was the most obvious lie in the history of lies that only really fooled really dumb and indoctrinated people, what happened there? People called me mentally ill for questioning the event and pointing out everything that was wrong with it. That's what my peer group did. Are you mentally ill? Bro, you sound schizophrenic. You really think America would do that, bro? There's something wrong with you in the head. Get help. It just, nothing has changed with this populace. You point out what's wrong, and they almost all default to the same thing. This is the sound of the swine. This guy is spending money on bots to advertise his video. None of my videos get any more views anymore, buddy. This video didn't get that great of views. Definitely not spending any money on bots. That thumbnail is absolutely disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself. What was disgusting about it? Two guys who've benefited a lot off YouTube. And to be fair, like I said, even in this video, I said Jeff Nippard's content actually has some worth. Aiden Ross's doesn't at all. Aiden Ross is, I don't know, just a complete waste of a human being, but somehow gets a lot of traffic. Mark Lewin said yesterday, Jason Tatum successfully came. Mark Lewin, he's a decoder. He'll just leave whatever comment he sees. But yeah, Mark Lewin, and like a lot of people in this community who use this knowledge, smarter people, we pat our pockets off of the rigging day in and day out. All right, so we got some people just leaving decodes here. Max Bracken, this is the most insane, incoherent, deranged blabber I have ever seen. The world would be better off without people like you. If it wasn't for people like me, you guys would all be totally fucked, is actually the truth of the matter. That is the real truth of the matter. You guys would be totally fucked. You'd have nobody here to wake you up. You'd probably all still believe. See, a lot of people are starting to wake up to Cooties 19 5 years after the fact. It's thanks to people like me, the people who were the pioneers of getting out the message of everything that was wrong. The people like me who were standing out in front of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation on March 13, 2020 in the cold, educating about Event 201 and what Bill Gates had said almost exactly 10 years to the day of Cooties 19 showing up in his backyard, and about how we need a push to pokey doke everyone so that we can reduce the population. Go back and listen to everything he said. People like you are the masses and the losers who go along with all the lies that are numerical every single day, and somehow you don't catch on because of your low IQs. And because of you, you're probably a guy out there with his mask on and probably got a shot. And, all of you guys who went along with everything, you're the reason we got locked down and they had to print money and now everything's so expensive. That's who you guys are, Max Bracken. Mass report. I reported it as hateful and bullying. You guys should too. A-holes like him shouldn't be given a chance to profit off someone's demise. Again, horribly un-American spirit. And this is also why the murderous cabal gets away with what they do, because the sheep are so dumb. If you want an easy way of getting rid of your future wife, I guess you should join the club. Yeah. Brownie is another popular fitness YouTuber. I was watching one of his videos one time, and he was running a special on one of his fitness plans for just $6.66. Yeah, go figure. Again, 666 is the 36 triangular number. We talked about where that fits in with the whole 36 thing. I guess Greg Doucette, Coach Greg had beef with her. Yeah, he makes a lot of money just off creating drama. I think this person gets it. They said, thus they shall continue to walk in the land of wool-covered eyes, talking to the other morons leaving comments here. The meme fist says, you're working backwards. You came to the conclusion first, and then you're just finding numbers that support your conclusion instead of the other way around. The meme fists, 13 straight years I've been here documenting the numerically encoded ritualistic deaths that are usually very surface level. And then if you just look one step further, there's usually something pretty obvious. Like, again, being reported dead at 36 on 3/6 after we just covered this 3 days earlier. And then the first thing I look at was how it lined up with Jeff Nippard's birthday, because the same, method I use for every time I do one of these. I'm as consistent as can be. And you go, wow, 151 days to 36 prime. And again, if you're new here, I always talk about the same things, how it all comes back to the Jesuits. They got engaged on Valentine's Day 2/14. It was also 214 days for his upcoming birthday. We talked about, just how his channel was also created on a very special day to the Jesuits. And from understanding these things, like for all of my work, we had it almost called to the day that the war in Iran would begin. I was almost right on the day that we would invade. I was 6 days early, but I pointed out how Khomeini was born on April 19th and installed at age 8 or on 8/6 and why he'd be 86 at age 86, which he was. I said, it's all going to happen before his April 19th birthday, which is the anniversary of Ignatius Loyola becoming the first superior general. Yeah, and just if you're new here, 44 and kill. We just had the astronaut. He was 44 when his wife died. I mean, it's just the same stuff over and over again. So your accusation is from not doing any research. The Memphis. Greg Doucette is a douche. I don't get it. Can someone explain it to me? It's like, do these people know how to watch YouTube channels? Watch the next video and you'll get it more and more as you watch more and more. Yeah, he is doing the hand symbol. Thoughts on Jeff Nippard being an invert? Probably not. I don't think. Well, I don't know. I don't think women can build up the muscle mass that he has. I mean, there are some strong bodybuilders, but yeah, Mike Tyson's daughter died by the numbers, and she was for the number of death in the occult. Yeah, I've covered Mike Tyson's daughter's death before. I mean, it's just par for the course in the world of celebrity. Somebody pointed out, we talked about the 118 in her death, and apparently the word scientist is 118. She says, I've never cried for a stranger so much. I'm not super familiar with her work. There might be that, because I know she was, a scientist looking into health things. Maybe she touched on a topic that the mainstream really didn't like. I see guys like Mike Israetel and Jeff Nippard giving their food advice, and it's not good food advice. I mean, they're promoting all kinds of stuff that people should never eat. I don't know what she did. I wasn't familiar enough with her work. John points out that she'd been silent for the past year before her death. Let's see. Yeah, this person says, if there is something more to her death, her real fans should want to know what happened. I don't get why that part is just ignored. Did she off herself? Let's see. Touch grass, dude. I just hate that kind of shit, man. It's just so annoying. Touch grass, dude. It's just Americans are so dumb. I mean, that's just the stuff I'm used to. You give them information, and then you catch these people. They're the ones that sit around and believe what they see on the news and don't question anything and make their life all about the rig sports game. And they're the ones all invested in the rig sports game and emotionally bent out of shape when their team loses. Again, it's so annoying, the arrogant fucking retard that is the average American. Touch grass, dude. Guy probably has no woman, no life, no family. You go touch grass, stupid motherfucker. Stupidest video I've watched on YouTube. You need meds. Oh, wow. Oh, no. The same insult over and over? God. Oh, we need meds. God. Yeah, for seeing through the obvious. Don't you just, I mean, these people, man, I wish there was just a wood chipper big enough to throw them all into. Never been medicated and never needed meds, and always been top of the class and probably better at everything than you in life, Giovanni. You need intelligence. That's the real problem. All these tropes of human beings that just have the same thoughts and ideas. Bro, Donald Trump isn't in the Church of Satan with a emoji. Are you sure about that, moron? Go back to April 30th, 2011, the 45th birthday of the Church of Satan, which was also the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where Obama told the joke that Trump would be number 45. And again, his birthday is 45 days from the Church of Satan's. And what's the highest degree in the Church of Satan? Everyone can look it up. It's mega, M-A-G-A. What's the first tenet of Satanism? To worship yourself. What does Trump do? He worships himself more than anyone we've probably ever seen on earth. And again, look into a guy like Mark Passio, who's Jesuit educated and a former priest in the Church of Satan. He says you would be amazed at how many people in the world of U.S. politics are in the Church of Satan. Some of the most powerful people in the nation, according to him, are in the Church of Satan. Let's see. I'm sorry, but you're a grade A moron. This is disrespectful, to be honest. It's just like, oh, okay. It's disrespectful. And again, disrespectful is mostly like, you want to see disrespectful, just watch a Coach Greg video. The guy's always disrespectful just to get views. I'm sorry, pointing out what looks like routine ritual murder and sacrifice on the world stage, which I'm about 99.9% I'm correct about based on the numerous examples that happen almost daily. I mean, did you see what they just did during the March Madness tournament? As the Mr. Indiana guy for UConn hits nearly the half-court shot, again, like I've said forever, they're using technology to ensure outcomes, to advance to Indiana for the Final Four. And right before that happens, the last commercials, the Invesco, by the way, in Gematria, Invesco equals 87. Like this was the 87th March Madness. Like the championship was 87 days after Connecticut's birthday. The last ad they show is the Invesco Triple Q ad with all the UConn players. And the other variation of that commercial is number 24, who hit the game winner, with the Asian guy. But literally, right as he hits the game winner, the news breaks that the Blue Bloods actor died. Here. Again, I'm just going to pull this up to just show you how redundant this stuff is, because this was just days ago. The Blue Bloods actor dies, who's an Asian guy, and look how perfect it is. I mean, it's just insanely perfect. Indiana's Mr. Basketball was his title. Eagles 187 like Braylon Mullins. The Blue Bloods actor is an Asian guy, just like the ad with Braylon Mullins for Invesco QQQ is him with an Asian guy. And look at this. From the anniversary of the start of Blue Bloods to them breaking the news right as he hits the game winners, 187 days, which is, of course, is the homicide code. I mean, come on, man. He wins with 73. Sacrifice equals 73, as does ritual sacrifice, another pattern we talk about all the time. UConn got their 33rd win of the year and stayed on 33 losses in the tournament all time. And they run that Invesco ad, QQQ 24. Here's the commercial with him and the Asian guy. I mean, give me a break. God, this stuff goes on all the time. CNN called it a Hail Mary for another 87 and 42, like the actor's dead at 42. I mean, please. This is so disrespectful. No, you're just a fucking moron. Okay. Anyway, this guy says, you sound like you haven't spent a day in the gym in your life. Why? Because I said we don't need science-based lifting? Now, I did see a Coach Greg video making fun of the spawn of science-based lifters just doing all these goofy-ass, needless workouts in the gym. That was a Coach Greg video that I could get behind, because it's like, yeah, these guys are just overcomplicating things just to make content. You sound like you haven't spent a day in the gym in your life, saying it isn't complicated. It isn't complicated. It's not complicated to lift weights. It's really not. If you want to stay a novice for life, what counts as a novice? You know, I used to be able to bench 335. Is that novice? I know most men never bench that much in their life. I'm not the biggest guy. I was 5'10", 170 pounds, benching nearly double my weight. I'll be there in another year's time too. I'm well on my way again. I'll get even bigger in my 40s. But yeah, just what are you talking about? What the fuck is this? Oh, try listening. Maybe then it would sink in. That's the problem too. Most of us just can't listen. You're taking letters and numbers, turning them into different numbers, then comparing them to wide amount of numbers that fit your. Did we talk about a wide amount of numbers? Because I mean, I just kept this one to 151 and 36, and how these things happen just days apart. That's mostly where we caught it. I did bring in some other things, but I emphasized that it was really about the 151 and the 36. I mean, are you serious? I hate listening to these idiots talk about things. You're talking letters and numbers, turning them into different letters and numbers. Yeah, it's a real thing. It's been going on for thousands of years. Then comparing them to wide amount of numbers that fit your narrative. You also say things that cannot be controlled, and you expect that they can. What do you mean they can't be controlled? People can't murder people? People can't sacrifice people? This idea of blood sacrifice, blood magic isn't real? Didn't Hollywood just make a movie about this called Weapons? Should look more into my work on that. For example, you mentioned Donald Trump was born on a blood moon. How was he meant to control that? Again, the point is that these people are chosen because of when they're born. These people are chosen ritualistically, like 3 of your last presidents who've dominated the better part of the last 30 years all just happened to be born in 46, right at the end of World War II, right before the CIA was established. Not an accident. You think the mother planned getting pregnant and purposely gave birth to him on that date? Here, for this guy right here, see, this, I hate these people just, they're kind of dumb. That's why they can't think about things the right way. Hold on. And let's just pull this up again here. I must have spelled something wrong. Oh, I spelled Shepard instead of Epstein. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. There's so many angles that you can see how Trump was chosen and how much of this script is that we're living out. But this King of the Jews book that came out in 1979, the year of the Iranian Revolution, written by a Leslie Epstein, released on January 1st, 79, 201 days after Trump's birthday, when the author's name is 201, and it's also 60, like Donald Trump, like how he won the 60th election. Don't forget when he killed his ex-wife exactly 60 weeks into the first Jesuit Nation year, and then buried her on the 201st day of the year, and that was the same day he said he'd run in the 60th election. But anyway, all these numbers up here are huge numbers that have to do with the cabal, the Illuminati, and there's a million things like this besides just this book. There's the Baron Trump books by Arthur Lockwood. There's the old Western that came out when Trump was 12 years old about a con man named Trump who wants to build a wall in Texas. And all of these things are perfectly coordinated with his birthday. Track down equals 37, the Western from when he was 12 years old that came out 37 days from his 12th birthday, when 37 is the 12th prime. This is a guy who was born... for those, I mean, that's why talking to these lemmings is too hard. You guys, what's happening in the world today was written long ago. We're living out a planned script with actors on the world stage. That's why everything Trump does, everything day is by this code. Every last thing is whole threat yesterday, the big ultimatum on 4/7 for number 47, where the leader of Iran gave in 211 days after his birthday, the 47th prime for the ceasefire, which they're saying could already be broken today. Here, let me see. Is this it right here? Here, was this yesterday? Here, 211 days after the... And by the way, who told you they'd install this guy as the leader way before it happened at age 56? Anyway. Look at this. 211 days after his birthday, 47th prime on 4/7, 68 days before Trump's birthday when he's the apprentice, the first degree of Freemasonry, the apprentice. The Mason study, the 47th problem of Euclid. Trump retakes office in 25, scheduled to be there until 29. Number 47, when he was elected, it was synced with the Pope's 88th birthday. The Pope's name equaled 312. Trump gets 312 electoral college votes. Then the Pope dies on the 312th day of Trump's age. And then we get the first Pope from America, from Chicago, the 312 area code. And morons think that's a coincidence. Let me come back to this guy. For example, you mentioned Donald Trump was born on a blood moon. Okay, we already said that. You think the mother planned getting pregnant and purposely gave birth to him on that date? No, but he's probably chosen for this reason. Or they could have had a C-section, or they could have even fudged the birthday. There's a number of ways they could do it. Remember, the Trump family was the Drumpf family. They changed their name to Trump, and that's all part of the script. Trump or tarot cards. Tarot cards equal 119. There's 78 in the deck. When does Trump come back into office? At age 78 with the 119th Congress. Top cards are Trump cards. But here, this guy thinks he's so smart with his not gotcha questions, but that's what he thinks he's got here. People who fall for this guy's content are fools. This guy probably went all in on the Artemis 2 launch on April Fool's Day without even thinking twice about it. People who fall for this guy's content are fools. You will find any relation and call it true. No. You also boast about people's IQs when they have a valid argument. No. You can tell right here, this guy doesn't have a very high IQ. I mean, we're talking about room temperature. You tell them to wake up and see the truth without actually answering their questions. I'm answering yours, moron. IQ isn't a valid measurement of intelligence. Yeah, it is. It's incredibly inaccurate. No, it's not. Just because you pay someone money to measure your IQ and it's a high number doesn't mean your intelligence is as high as it says. I mean, that could be, but we can also see you're not very smart. If someone doesn't agree with you, then you call them low intelligence. Well, I just know that this world's full of low intelligent people. Again, I went through the slave school system and I saw how retarded my fellow peers were, and I've seen it for all of my life. And I watched the whole nation fall for September 11th, where you had to be a fucking retard. A fucking retard. How about falling for Cooties 19? Talk about a nation of fucking retards. So don't tell me about how low people's intelligence are when I know for a fucking fact it's a nation of fucking retards. Okay, How about instead of combining letters and numbers to find patterns that fit what you want to believe? No, not what I want to believe, you fucking moron. What I saw for over a decade was that they were doing number rituals and I didn't know why. And I had to look for a long time to find out what it might be. And then I found out about this thing about letters and numbers and I started to look into it and I said, well, look at that. You know, almost instantly, not almost instantly is more like it. I started to say, holy shit, look at that. Day one, boom, look at that. Holy shit, look at that. And then what I noticed with my pack of friends, which are also kind of a group of fucking retards, when I share this with them, they're like, come on, man, that's dumb. I was like, no, these are the same fucking morons that still think 9/11's the official story is the real thing. For the fucking moron I'm talking to, I hope you're out there. Do you think it's a coincidence that George W. Bush was born on the day that Governor Dewey in New York put together the 9/11, or not the 9/11, the commission to build the World Trade Center? Do you think that's a coincidence, you fucking moron? How about the fact that in 1968, when he graduated from Yale Skull and Bones, which abides by the number Order 322, how about in that same year, 911 was made the National Emergency Dialing Code and World Trade Center construction came out or happened in New York, and 2001 A Space Odyssey came out, and the New York Jets won their only Super Bowl, like after 9/11 and the Patriot Act, all of a sudden the Patriots were so great. And after the New York Jet took out Drew Bledsoe. Mo Lewis took out Drew Bledsoe, and then here comes Tom Brady. Tom Brady, born while the nation was 201 years old, like the Twin Towers became no towers before they were rebuilt as one. 201. What's that Jesuit motto? Both into one, which is Georgetown's motto. How about instead of combining letters and numbers to find patterns that fit what you believe, you give us actual factual information? Well, I did, you fucking moron. She died at 36, and they announced it on 3/6, 151 days after his birthday, the 36th prime. There weren't even any letters and numbers in that. 3 days after another prominent YouTuber did a 36 ritual with his sister. God, these people are dumb. Evidence, anything other than some numbers, just some numbers. How about 13 fucking years of documenting and showing what's going on? Room temperature IQ. Swine that would be better off in a wood chipper and turned into some fertilizer and returned to the earth. So go ahead, reply to this comment. Tell me one of the two things you tell everyone else who doesn't agree with you. How'd you die and what is your IQ? If you don't provide me with more evidence than the numbers and patterns, and you have to believe. Okay, here. I just want to make another point too about what's going on in this world. Let's see. Military here. Enlistment age 42. Now, for 13 years, I've been here talking about rituals with Iran and 42. And as I've said 1,000 times, when we go to war with Iran, it's going to be a big 42 ritual. Look at all this stuff for a moron like this guy. Again, on Hitler's birthday, on 4/20, which looks a lot like 42, the new enlistment age is officially going to become 42 for the U.S. military. Iran in war are 42. This war, there's a lot of things to the start date with this war, which we almost called right on the nose. And don't forget, we did call the start date of the Russia-Ukraine war right on the nose well before it happened, like we've called a lot of things. And there is a lot of value in that, because what did I tell you guys while oil was still low? I said invest in oil. Could have made a fortune. Anyway, 42 days from the anniversary of the military-industrial complex speech, the war starts. Don't forget who pointed out the day Netanyahu came back, it was Albert Pike's birthday, who wrote the letter about 3 world wars. But yeah, 1942, 42 was the year U.S. troops were first deployed to World War II. You can see where all these 42s fit in. Albert Pike, the famous Freemason who wrote the letter about 3 world wars to come on the Jesuit order's birthday, he died on 4/2. Freemason and Jesuit both equal 42. People who were born in 1984 will turn 42 this year, just for the record, that infamous year of 84. On 4/2 this year, they canned the head of the U.S. Army and replaced him with the 42nd guy to take on the position. That happened on 4/2. Hold on, let me see. Don't forget, Hitler supposedly died at 56, but his body was never recovered. And by the way, the selective service system is now going to begin automatically enlisting everyone over 18 years old exactly 42 weeks after the war began. When you think this kind of stuff is a coincidence, especially after I've been talking about it over and over for 13 years, it just makes you fucking stupid, okay? I mean, the fact that the new head of the army is the 42nd guy in his position and it happened on 4/2 while all this other shit's going on, and you just think all this is a coincidence, you're fucking dumb, you know? How about the new attorney general? Here's smart guy. Here's smart guy and all the other smart guys here. How about the firing of Pam Bondi by the numbers? Here, there's a million things I could say about it, but how about the new Attorney General's the 88th? He's the 88th Attorney General, Todd Blanche, 88. And from the day that he became the assistant to the day he became the head, exactly 56 weeks. Also 56 in the base ciphers. If you're the type of person who thinks that could just be a coincidence, what I know about you is you're a fucking retard. That's what I know about you. You're a fucking retard. Do you know how astronomically impossible this shit is to be this way every day like it is? And not to mention, they did a whole bunch of 87 shit during the 87th March Madness tournament, including The Apprentice firing Pam Bondi, the 87th in position, and Robert Mueller dying one day before the anniversary of the Mueller report by the numbers, and he was born on 8/7. Again, this shit goes on every year. And then the morons like, what? You think that has something to do with March Madness? Of course it did, you fucking retard. Last year, Todd Golden, when Trump declared the golden era, won the championship on 4/7. We were all over that way before the tournament began. Lock City. There's a whole lot more to it as well. And by the way, let me pull back up this little book here. This little book about King of the Jews that foreshadowed what was coming 47 years later with Trump. And the whole Epstein hoax. Another saga, just all numbers, all distraction, all bullshit. Oh, yeah, don't forget the main character in King of the Jews is I.C. Trumpelman. There was a lot to this, as we covered, but where's the piece I wanted to show you about this? Oh, yeah, the first chapter at King of the Jews, the Golden Age. Trump takes office at 78. That's in his 79th year of life, shortly before turning 79. Gold's the 79th element on the periodic table. Gold goes to the moon, and so does silver, the 47th element. And you fucking morons out there think it's a coincidence? It's because you're stupid. This guy then goes on to anyone who actually believes this and pays for this guy's ebook, subscriptions, or even donating him. I feel sorry for you. He is lying and manipulating you into supporting and watching his content. He's profiting off other people's naivety. Moron, there's people in this community who went from homeless to well-to-do. There's a lot of people who've greatly increased their financial wealth. What I do over here is real knowledge that's unique and actually meaningful. You're here watching science-based lifting videos, which are a waste of your fucking time. Just go to the gym and exercise. God. It was all figured out decades ago before YouTube existed. Let me see. Yeah, here. You are such a conspiracy nutcase idiot, dude. I know all of them are turning out to be true, but he's mocking here, which I like. Just shut up and listen to the news, your politicians, media, and celebrities. They hold the absolute truth, and if you think differently, you are obviously crazy. Exactly. This might as well be the voice of the normal person. I wish I could keep writing and insulting you, but I have to go and make it to my COVID booster shot appointment. Just follow the herd, man, and stop thinking for yourself. Thinking for yourself is scientifically proven to be bad for you. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this guy, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. You're a fucking retard. Point blank, period. Where's the cause of death for this woman? What's wrong with you guys? How come they have to keep doing the same shit in front of your face? Every celebrity posing with one eye, this thing. You think it all just means nothing? Bob Dylan goes on 60 Minutes 20 years ago and tells you if you want to make it in show business, you got to sell your soul to Satan. Again, Jeff Nippard has made millions because of the YouTube algorithm. It has chosen him. You guys, there's a lot of great fitness content creators that have very small audiences, and they are also good at video editing and putting together a good video. But you look and, low views, low subs, some moderate. They might have 100,000 subs, get 5,000, 10,000 views a video. They're doing just as good a stuff as Jeff Nippard. But again, the algorithm directs you to Jeff Nippard's channel. These other channels, you really got to look and say, oh, Jeff Nippard, okay, I seen enough Jeff Nippard. Let me look for something else. And then finally you find, like, oh, man, this is a good channel. Why don't YouTube promote this one? I can't even think of the guy out there that's the former UFC fighter, Bobby something. You look at him, he's a former UFC fighter, won a lot of UFC fights. I don't know what he did wrong in the world, but he doesn't have that many subs. He doesn't get that good of views. I'd say he gives a lot better advice than Jeff Nippard. And he's an actually accomplished fighter. There's a reason Jeff Nippard got chosen, and YouTube drags you to his stuff. And it does. And if you search fitness, you're going to see it just starts directing you to Jeff Nippard. Jeff Nippard. There's a reason he makes millions in ad revenue. YouTube helps him achieve it. And this is the cost. This is how it works. Aiden Ross. Again, Aiden Ross. Total no talent, nothing interesting, not funny, just nothing is interesting about Aiden Ross. Made a millionaire off of social media, doing absolutely nothing. Probably making people dumber has been his contribution. And understand that is what the cabal wants. The cabal wants dumber and dumber people because dumber people are easily controlled. That's also why the school system is meant to make people dumb. It's also why they feed you a poisonous, toxic diet, which people like Jeff Nippard and Mike Rizertel promote. I've seen their videos on recommended food. It's not a good recommendations. Both guys probably do steroids as well. But, yeah, I mean, if you think this is all just coincidental, it's because you're fucking dumb, okay? Point blank, period. That's it. Here, I'm going to drop the link, and I hope some of you dummies are out there who left comments. I want you to call in and tell me what I don't know and why you're so superior and know that all this is bullshit when I've been here for 13 years, proving it day in and day out, and yeah, have helped change a lot of people's lives for the better, and including helping people out financially. Listen up when Cousin Mark calls in and talks about when he was homeless and had just donated plasma and heard me talking about sports futures and took the $85 he got off plasma that day and put it on a 1,000-to-1 ticket and made $85,000 and went out and got an apartment and got a job and reestablished his life. Again, there's a lot of great stories like that in this community, and that's from taking advantage of the knowledge. And all you morons who don't know that, it's because I've been deleted and shadow banned and censored. If YouTube really wanted to help the world, they'd promote me in the algorithm like they do Jeff Nippard. I'm sorry, but sports or science-based lifting, that's fucking worthless for the most part to the people of the world. And if you get all butthurt about that, I don't care. It's almost fucking worthless. You had people decades ago that way before YouTube that showed you how to lift and be fit. You don't need these YouTube videos. They're not that important. What I brought to the world, nobody knew about. No one knew about it. And again, what I've shown you is how rigged the game is, who's rigging the game, and how to beat these people at the rigged game. That's groundbreaking. And YouTube doesn't want it out there because it's not supposed to be out there. That's the difference. And all you fucking morons, you're too dumb to see it. So let's see. Is there anybody out there? I'd like to see some of these NPCs who left comments come in and tell me otherwise. Let's hear how smart you sound. Tell me how it's all a coincidence, moron, day after day. You want me to sit here and go through 10,000 fucking examples of murder by numbers? Because we got even more proofs than that. And there's even one sitting on the back burner I could work on. How about the poor Indiana football players that just dropped dead right after Indiana won a championship like we see every fucking year? College team wins the football championship? And how rigged was that? And again, you NPCs don't even see it. Did you notice Indiana went 16-0 and then the Seahawks won 16-0? Remember what happened. Indiana. Who died? The Colts owner died 106 days before the 106th NFL season kicked off. Looks a lot like 16. If you don't know, the Colts, Jim Irsay, who died, and don't forget he died right before the Eastern Conference Finals with Indiana upsetting the Knicks. And his last tweet, his social media post was, "Go Pacers." But remember, and who did the Pacers lose to? The Thunder, who came from Seattle. And who called the Thunder to win before the season began like we do almost every year? We did. Seattle won their only championship in 79, and the Thunder win the 79th NBA season. But again, look at it. For people who don't know the history of the Colts, they started out as the Miami Seahawks. The Miami Seahawks became the Baltimore Colts. They became the Indianapolis Colts. So the Colts have a connection to Seahawks. Indiana's the 19th state. Seattle's the 19th city. And don't forget, Seattle was up 19-0 in the Super Bowl. But these are all connected things. Indiana wins by 16, or goes 16-0. Then the Seahawks win by 16 in 2026. 26 is the 16th composite number. All of this stuff is a mathematical script that pays tribute to history that most people don't have a fucking clue about. And don't forget who died right before the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. Sonny Jorgensen, who was the champion in 1960, right before Super Bowl 60, he's dead. And where did he die? He died in Wilmington. And what's the college in Wilmington, North Carolina? They're called the Seahawks. And don't forget how we took advantage of the college basketball game with the Wilmington Seahawks upsetting with 76 points, like the NFL Seahawks first season was in 76, the day after the Super Bowl. Nothing but scripts. Year after year, the same shit. All right, we got 818, and then we got Roberto Miranda, and I'm hoping some NPCs get in here because that's who I really want to talk to. What's up, 818?
What's up, Zach? Sorry, I was busy early in the day. I'm gonna drop some free game, even though this is not the Patreon channel. But Cam Young, there's a good chance Cameron Young could win. I was listening to the stream. I haven't had a chance to finish it. Saw you went live, so I want to make sure I can jump in and give some notes before the Masters actually starts. But Cameron Young won the Players. And the last 2 years, Rory won the Players last year, and then he won the Masters. Then the year before that, Scotty won the Players, and then he won the Masters. So if that,
by the way, just for the record, you guys, 6 of the last 7 Masters we called before the tournament began. Last year was an easy one because Rory was age 35 at the 89th Masters and completed the career Grand Slam. And again, year after year, the year before that, Scotty Scheffler wins it. The year before that, hold on, let me spell Scheffler right, because it was the 88th Masters the year before. The year before that, Jon Rahm wins, the Spaniard, on Seve Ballesteros' birthday anniversary. And look, every year since he died, a Spaniard's won on his birthday when the Masters ended on his birthday. And on and on and on. Again, for all you guys who think this is some kind of joke, you're dumb. And I'd make sure you catch the update that I just put in there for the Masters notes when you get a chance. But yeah, I don't want to give out too much information on a public stream.
Yeah, still reading through it. Last thing, Brooks, you mentioned his previous birthday, but his next birthday, the tournament ends on 22. If you include the end date. So he was born a day before Rory. I think for Rory, you put 22.
Like I said, man, I don't want to give out too much information on a public stream. This isn't a Patreon stream.
Yeah, of course. But anyways, I just wanted to get those notes out just in case you hadn't had a chance to look at them. I didn't see them in the updated notes, but I'll check everything out. I just wanted to come in and, just say keep doing what you're doing. And for anyone who doesn't believe in Gematria, just keep tuning into this channel, and you'll see that the world is a big script.
Yeah, and it's only the dummies that don't see it. And a lot of these dummies, they just come to an instant false conclusion and think they're holier than thou.
Yeah, so everything's meant to distract us. That's the way I think. Sports is the new Coliseum, all that shit. And everyone's making money off this shit while we just are stuck at work 9 to 5s and shit. So there's money to be made. You guys should all just keep tuning in. And it sounds crazy, but if you listen, like it's all there.
Yeah,
it's all there. The numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
Anyways, appreciate it, Zach.
And again, nobody else in the world's called 6 of the last 7 Masters before they began, or has any of the accomplishments that yours truly has. We've been calling sports futures like nobody's business for going on 13 years straight. And more important things than that, I wrote a book about exactly when Cootie's 19 would end at the start of the pandemic, proven right in spades, plus everything else I said that would happen out of that. Again, way ahead of the curve. And the problem is people are too dumb overwhelmingly to appreciate it or understand it. That's the only real problem with this work, is that the masses are too stupid, chemically dumbed down by the system in school. Those are the only real problems. Roberto Miranda. Was that our Miranda rights? All right. Where are the trolls at? Because as soon as I posted that video, the trolls were all over it leaving comments. So you guys must be out there. I'm dropping the link again. Come on here and tell me about why you're so smart and I'm so dumb. What happened to Jeff Nippard's fiancé then? Why did they announce her dead at 36 on 3/6, 151 days after his birthday, the 36 prime again, right after Aiden Ross announced his sister dead at 36, who died on 15/1. Sue saved the news for the day of the blood moon. Tell me about it. Someone says, did I catch that SNL did a skit about Pam Bondi in the March Madness tournament? It was 46 weeks after Kenan Thompson's 47th birthday. Pamela Bondi. I didn't, but it's just a reminder. I mean, all this stuff is one big script. Yeah, if you guys missed it too, Hurley fell to 20-6 in the tournament. We had UConn to cover. We didn't think they'd lose by more than 6. He got his 6th loss, losing by 6 as a 6.5-point dog. Michigan Wolverines 206. Hurley falls to 20-6 in March Madness. And by the way, since we're talking about sacrifices, let's bring up Kiki Shepard, the first sacrifice for this year's March Madness tournament. She was from Texas and went to Howard, who won the first 2 games of the tournament. Howard in Texas. And, dead at 74. I mean, my last book opens up with 74, the killing code. But yeah, her birth name, Chiquita Renee Shepard, 206. The tournament ended with a 206 ritual. Michigan and UConn had played each other 3 times before the game. And by the way, the championship was played on 2-date numerology. Michigan's now 2-2 versus UConn, but Michigan had allowed 206 points to UConn before the meeting to finish off March Madness as Hurley fell to 20-6. And by the way, the true date numerology path for that day was 20, which broke down to 2. I want to see if something's true. Somebody left a comment that they had played each other for the first time exactly 206 months before the championship. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. History of college basketball games between Michigan and UConn. And by the way, you know, the last time Michigan won a championship, it was over the other Huskies team out of the 206 area code. They beat the Washington Huskies that play in Seattle, and Michigan, the university, was 206 years old that year. And, you know, what's interesting is you see how Seattle equals 82? Here, let's go back to the day of the Super Bowl, because like we always say, it's all one big script, and if you read it right, you can really get ahead of the curve. We were locked into Duke and Arizona all year for good reason, and for understanding that narrative, we dominated all throughout the regular season. We had a great regular season. The tournament left a lot to be desired. It was as simple as this. Connecticut 46, Michigan 46. On 4-6, that was the championship. And again, it was 87 days after Connecticut's birthday for the 87th tournament. And by the way, it was 71 days from the state of Michigan's birthday. Michigan, the 26th state, wins the championship in 2026. But hold up. All right, the first meeting of these teams was February 7th, 2009. Wow, the score of that game was almost the exact same as the championship score, just reversed. Let me see if this is true. February 7th, 2009. Hold up. February 7th, 2009 to April 6th, 2026. Wow, if you count the span. Holy shit, you guys. The first time they ever played each other to the championship was exactly 206 months. And now Michigan's last 2 championships, football and basketball, were both 206 rituals. Remember, 206 isn't an arbitrary number either. There's 206 bones in an adult human body. There's the phrase, the body is the temple. Masonic temple equals 206. All of the major American sports are credited to masonry. So, wow, another great catch. We did rank Michigan early in the season as the 3rd most likely team to win the championship behind Duke and Arizona, so it wasn't all bad, but man, they had Duke and Arizona do so many major rituals during the season, including one night where they were the only 2 ranked teams playing, and Arizona picked up their 2001st win. Like in 2001, that was the championship in the same building. So anyway, we had good reason to think Duke and Arizona was the narrative, but Michigan, Connecticut also made sense. For all the haters out there, I got way more futures than you'll ever have, so shut the fuck up. That's what I hate about the haters. Oh, you didn't get it right this year. Yeah, fucking moron. I've made so much money off futures. I don't know why you're even trying to talk shit. Let's see. Punk Rock says Michigan eliminated Howard as well. Yeah, it's also true, isn't it? But yeah, just talking about sacrifices. Kiki, 68 like basketball, like 68 teams in the tournament. The show she was part of, Apollo, Live at the Apollo. There's probably something about that with the moon mission too. Because Apollo and Artemis, you know, Greek siblings? But yeah, she started there in 87. Like this was the 87 tournament. Howard University, 87 wins the first tournament. Yeah, just a lot here to it. Repetitive patterns. And Texas, we did well with Texas. We thought Texas, their season would end in their 86th tournament game because who else died right at the start of the tournament? Walker, Texas Ranger, dead at 86. Texas had the most upsets in the tournament as dogs, and it ended in their 86th game. So yeah, again, I'm waiting for the lemmings out there. I'm waiting for the people that left all the comments to come tell me about how all this stuff's stupid bullshit, because I got examples for days. Should we go back and look at our psychopath president and the death of his wife? You want to see that one? I mean, that day I said that was another example. I already called it 2 years before it happened. I said, hey, there's another example of why Trump's going to be the winner of the 60th U.S. presidential election. She died July 14th, 2022. Can be written 14-7, like the 147 windows on the White House, like U.S. president equals 147, like president of the United States equals 147. So here we go. Here's fell downstairs, cause of death. Has the same gematria as the Jesuit order, and then they bury her on the 201st day of the year. First Ignatian year began May 20th, Cannonball Day. She's dead exactly 60 weeks in. The same day Trump said he would run. The same day Trump said he'd run in the upcoming election, his ex-wife dies. And look at this. This was also on the same day. Conservatives refute Trump with 72-page report. Remember, President Trump equals 62. But if you look at this, let me see. I got it here. I think I got it documented in this post. Look at this. The report, lost, not stolen. The conservative case that Trump lost and Biden won the 2020 presidential election looked at more than 60 court cases Trump and his supporters filed and lost in 6 key battleground states. You remember when they filmed the latest Joker movie scene at the courtroom where Trump was in days later for Passover as he compared himself to Jesus? You remember how Trump got 34 felonies? Passover's 34, like Jesus, like cross, like church, like Biden. What is it? Democrat as well? Is that what it is? Democrat. It's all a big joke. But look, Alvin Bragg was the guy who brought the charges forth. Alvin Bragg, indictment, Donald Trump. All these stories are just all bullshit. It's just all contrived, Kabbalistic crap. And if you were watching me at the time, I said, the whole reason they're doing this is just to polarize everybody more and more. And then when they reinstall Trump in the 60th election, people are going to be more pissed off than ever. They're going to be like, what the fuck, a felon president? I hate this fucking guy. You know, that's what half the country's going to say. But then the other half are like, yeah, he's beating the deep state. He's trumping them all. And they're both morons because they don't see the puppet show that's going on every day. Tell me what the fuck Jeff Nippard ever showed that was more important than just the one video I put out on the day that all this shit happened, July 14, 2022, telling you what the rigged election was and the sacrifice of his wife. Please. And Jeff Nippard with his little weasel voice. Here's the latest science-based lift. If you lay on your abs instead of just shut the fuck up, man, and go to the gym and work out. God. Where are you morons at? I did this stream for you morons. Come on, you said I was the dumbest fucking person there ever was and should shut the fuck up and all this. Come on and tell me about it. Come on here, big talker. Come on, big talkers of the world. Tell me what I don't know. I'm sure all you fucking morons voted for Trump. You're the same ones there going, man, if we get Trump back, the guy who fucked us big time with Cooties 19, then we'll all be good to go. Then he comes back in and fucks you with tariffs, starts another war, and you're still surprised. You still can't figure it out. Maybe you're thinking about voting for the Democrats in the next term, and then they're going to fuck you, and you still won't figure it out because you're that fucking dumb. Please, there's nothing you can't tell me. I know what this country's about. Dumb and dumber. People that never learn. They just keep falling for all the bullshit every fucking day because they're that fucking retarded. Here's a troll from the community. Topsy, what do you want to come on and say, troll?
What's up, Zach?
Yeah, what do you want to say, troll?
Shit, you know, just talk. You know, you said I'm seeing people in the chat saying people scared to call in. I ain't scared to call in.
I know, because you're stupid. But go ahead. What are you going to say?
Dang, I'm stupid. What I'm stupid for? Because I don't believe in gematria.
Yeah. So tell me about this coincidence. The day Trump's ex-wife dies, synced up with the Jesuits and everything else we put out day after day. Tell me about what's coincidental about it.
My thing is, that's not no real proof of anything, man. Like, if you was to take that and present it in the court of law, you would just look crazy.
Because
that's
the court of law is real legitimate in this country, isn't it? The court of law.
I mean, is that real evidence, though? Is that legitimate?
You know what's gone on in this country for centuries with court of law? Because of the way you look, they just throw you in a fucking cell. So you want to talk about how legit the court of law is? Yeah,
because undisputable evidence, bro, like that is undeniable. Gematria makes sense, but it's not hardcore evidence, bro. So like when you get upset because people don't get it, like that's just a waste of energy and time, man. Like some people just don't understand it, and it's only a few smart people that get it.
So you want to tell me on the same day, exactly 60 weeks into the first Jesuit Nation year, when we're on this same train for a decade before this happens, that all these things happen on the same day, exactly 60 weeks into the first Jesuit Nation year, 60 cases against Trump, He says he's going to run in the 60th election. His ex-wife's dead. It's all just one big coincidence.
No, it's not that it's a coincidence. It's not enough evidence. It's not enough to convince people.
Are the lyrics to Murder by Numbers about how killing is the sport of the elected?
Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, bro.
And that's like, what do you call 13 years of proving your point every fucking day?
It's just a lot of alignments that make a lot of sense, but it's not a smoking gun, though.
I agree that if we could be there and examine the scene. How about this, though, Topsy? How about the day that I was out at the remember we had the shooting at the Kroger near where I live 201 days after the anniversary of the Kroger founder's death, and I was out there and I got the head guy who was in the national news that day to admit on camera that the feds were in control of the scene, and even though he was the talking person, he wasn't even allowed to examine the scene, and the feds were in total control, and he was getting all of his talking points through his cell phone. And he said to me on camera, he said, I know exactly why you're out here questioning all this. Don't you think that's, I mean, because again, that's the whole thing. All of this shit is out of sight. Nobody's allowed to see it except for the people in control. But what do you make of something like that? I mean, I'm showing this same pattern over and over. Then I'm on the scene. How about also when I was in Yakima, when we had also the national news story of the mass shooting, and they have a standoff on Elmo Street, ALMO, almost like Alamo, just days from the Alamo. And the one cop, when I pointed out, he gets mad and comes over and starts shoving me around. And then what happened that day? All of a sudden, a new news story broke. I'm standing at the standoff scene, and all of a sudden, a new national news story breaks that they found the body of the shooter behind a Target store. I drove over there that day, and there was nothing going on at the Target store. There was no cops. There was no crime scene. There was no nothing. The story just ended. The whole standoff disappeared, and it looked like a total load of shit and all just made-up information, another big mockery of everybody. The standoff on Elmo just days away from the Alamo anniversary, but that was the national news. I've been on the scene and proven that it looks like there's nothing but bullshit here. And by the way, wasn't the Kroger killing a 38-year-old shot a 38-year-old on the 38th day of the year? I mean, get the fuck out of here. Listen, there's no proof of anything these people are saying ever happened. You haven't seen any proof for any of their bullshit lies. If I could be everywhere at all times, I'm pretty sure it'd be the same shit. Not to mention when I was at the Kroger shooting, I documented the fucking crisis actors that were there, and the cameraman was telling them how to pose and what to do. And I called him out, and the one guy acted like he wanted to fight, and it was like, look how full of shit you are. Oh, I mean, what do you say to all that?
I'm saying that it makes a lot of sense, but it's not a smoking gun, though, man. And on top of that,
the smoking gun, though? But the thing is, everyone's believing the bullshit that they're putting out and go along with their bullshit agendas. Do you do this same thing? Do you troll the federal government as much as you troll me? Do you troll the federal government about their lies about Cooties 19 and all the other shit they do every day? Because you choose to troll me. Do you troll the actual government that's having the real consequential actions on our life?
Yeah, I make fun of all of it. Like I've been in a rabbit hole for a long time. I feel like all bullshit should be held accountable, man. But my thing is, people understand. There's a lot of people that know this stuff is going on, but they choose not to be bothered with it because they already have enough shit on their plate already dealing with day-to-day life. Ignorance is bliss. People know these things. And if you go through comment sections on major platforms, you'll see this. A lot of people are hip to what's going on.
Not really, though. Not really. Everybody thinks Israel runs the world right now. Everyone thinks it's Israel, which isn't true. Again, here's the you got people. Whose work is doing a better job of showing who actually runs the show?
Whose work? What do you mean, like in the truth community?
Who's putting out work in the world that actually shows who runs the show?
I think everybody within the truth community plays a part, but I do think there are shields in the truth community.
Almost everybody blames everything on Israel and Jews, which is totally false. All this shit connects back to the Jesuits. We document it day after day. Every damn ritual connects with the Pope and the Superior General every single day. Every single day.
Why do people think Israel is connected to it, though?
They're dumb. Because that's what all the fake intelligence in the truth community puts out.
I mean, you can make that claim, but at the same time, it's also stuff out there that leads them to believe that. Just like you find connections that lead you to believe that it's suggested.
All right, Thompson, you made a fair point, though. I'll agree that the smoking gun is only there if we can get to the scene. Like I said, that's why people need to wake up and see that there is enough evidence to make the case, and then people actually need to push forward and prove it. Like I said, if we could raid Georgetown and Fordham, I think we'd have all kinds of smoking guns. Again, showing how Georgetown simulated that Biden was going to beat Trump and Trump would refuse to step down, which would lead to deadly violence, and then showing how they did the simulation 144 days before the election and President Biden equals 144 like Jesuit order, and then all that shit plays out as I called out way before it happened. I mean, that's as close as you can get to a smoking gun without actually being there. Anyway, I'm going to let a few more people get in, and then I do got to go pick up my daughter. But fair enough. And today, Topsy, I respect your level of trolling. It wasn't bad at all, so keep it up. Thank you. All I see are other trolls in the back. Okay. It's just Chris on 3 different accounts. We don't want to hear from Chris. Yeah. It's amazing, this guy. Yeah, we know how Chris's picks really are. Chris calls it AIDS the greatest picks of all time that pat everyone's pockets. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I do got to go pick up my daughter. It's too bad that you losers who live in the comment section can't ever call in and make an actual argument. And again, if you think this knowledge is wrong, it's because you're fucking dumb. And if you do want the smoking gun, again, humanity has to push harder. But this is as close as you can get as an outsider to proving what's actually going on. Follow the numbers, because the people who run the show, they're into the numbers. Freemasonry, very powerful secret society that the DC, the Washington, D.C. is named after the Masonic city. What do they etch on the temple? All is number. They're based in Kabbalah, where this thing of letters and numbers comes from. And by the way, I do have to be repetitive. Randy this morning left a comment. He's like, Zach, did you know that Washington, D.C. used to be called Rome on the Potomac and the land was gifted by a guy named Francis Pope? I couldn't believe that Randy didn't know that. Randy's a veteran of the community. How many times have I told you guys that Washington, D.C. was called Rome on the Potomac and the land was gifted by Francis Pope? We probably covered that 1,000 times over the last 10 years, and somehow Randy didn't know that. It blew my mind. But that's also why you got to be repetitive and redundant, because you never know who missed what important point. But yeah, again, I mean, that stuff goes on forever and ever, and it's from B-list celebrities to the latest sacrifice for Donald Trump, which there's been a lot of as well. You want to benefit from the cabal, and there are people that they're lower level tiers. Jeff Nippard. And for all you guys who say, well, what's wrong with Jeff Nippard stuff? Again, a lot of it, really. It's a waste of your time. You don't need any of it. He gives horrible food advice, food and nutrition information. You want to shave years off your life, take Jeff Nippard's nutrition advice. All right, anyway, we'll leave it there for now. And until next time.